world we live in always has process and result, like water spilled because someone touched the cup, you're here because your parents got married. We call this cause and effect. But will mass have cause too? Imagine about it. What on earth could give mass to the object? Before we get to know about mass, let's look into symmetry first. Let's see some examples. In this case, a triangle has 3 symmetry axes and a circle has even more, infinite symmetry axes. In 3 dimensions, not in flat surface, the figure which has maximum symmetry axis is a sphere. A sphere has almost perfect symmetry. When symmetry applies to some rules, if a phenomenon keeps symmetry, we can induce a force which carries the rule. For instance, we could induce energy from flow of time and momentum from change of space. Isn't it amazing? Now, let's look into some smaller world. We can find out that our world is composed of small materials, which we call particles. There are particles which carry force. We call them boson, and there are various bosons like proton or W boson. We call them throughout gauge boson. These particles show the exact same result even when you change the way to observe them. We call this characteristic gauge symmetry. But there's something weird going on to the theory. If we follow the theory, the particles cannot have mass to keep symmetry. But still, we already know that the most of the particles have mass. What in the world is going on? Theoretically, particles can't have mass, and yet mass exists. That means that the symmetry have been broken spontaneously. The phenomenon occurs because of the spontaneous symmetry breakdown. On the point of the mass, Higgs particle is related to this phenomenon. In fact, Higgs particle doesn't directly give mass to other particles. To be exact, that is Higgs mechanism which gives mass to particles. Now, we will find this out in detail. At normal condition, particles spread equally so they doesn't disturb the movement of other particles. Like it isn't hard for you to walk through the crowd who are standing evenly. But the situation gets different when crowd, which means particles gather around you. You will be disturbed, so you'll make a detour or crash into people, and that will turn into resistance. In the world of the particle, this resistance is the mass. Then how do they make this resistance? Is this a magic which happens when Higgs particle points somewhere with its magic wand, and the particles gather around like magic? Actually, yes. This is the fact which makes Higgs particle to be called as the atom of God. Now, let's have a look at the Higgs mechanism. First, we will adopt 4 new particles. 2 particles will be absorbed in the W boson and 1 will be absorbed in the Z boson. Because of this, W boson and Z boson are able to have mass. Next, 1 particle which remained spontaneously breaks symmetry and makes other particles change spin direction to one direction like magnet. Then the particles gather around and are able to give mass to quark or electron just like we saw a few minutes ago. Wherever the quark or lepton, which Higgs particles gave mass are, Higgs particle is there, even when the process is all over. Here, now you got to know how mass occurs, but still nothing has changes to you or to your situation. Like most of the science and physics, you're just yourself the same as 10 minutes ago. But now we know, so how about thinking it when you feel so alone? To keep you as yourself, to keep you down here in the earth, billions and trillions of Higgs particles are spinning around you. So, someone said, did the world change? Someone answered, yes. The eyes which you look at the world has changed. That is the reason why science is so attractive, and that is what makes science romantic. Now please, think about it. How romantic?